Welcome to Amplifying Leadership and Tip Thursday with Tara, your weekly dose of practical leadership tips and strategies you can apply immediately to your team and work. I am Tara Lehman, founder and CEO of Amplifying Leadership. Each week, I'll share insights and takeaways designed to help you build, enhance, and grow your leadership skills. It's actionable guidance you can use right away. Visit us anytime at amplifyingleadership.ca. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Tip Thursday with Tara. So as you know, this month's topic, we've been talking about delegation and empowerment. And today I want to tackle a concern that I do hear from a lot of leaders and business owners. And it normally sounds something like, Tara, I want my team to take more ownership over XYZ, but I also need it done right. It's a fair concern. Many leaders do worry that maybe if they give employees more freedom or more accountability, things like that, something will disappear. Deadlines will be missed, standards will drop, or even mistakes might increase. And those are very valid concerns. So they end up staying heavily involved in everything, which doesn't help the leader. And the problem is that ownership rarely grows in environments where people feel they need permission for every move they make. So here's some good news for you. Empowerment and accountability are not opposites. They tend to be needed both in teams. So today I want to share some tips on how leaders can empower their teams while still maintaining some accountability. We want to give ownership of results and not just responsibility. So a lot of leaders will assign tasks, but few will assign some ownership, and there is a difference. So assigning tasks might sound like, hey, can you complete this task, ABC? Where we're doing it around ownership, we might say something different like, could you take responsibility for ensuring that ABC gets done successfully? When your employees feel responsible for an outcome and the questions you can feel are very different, they start looking at the bigger picture more naturally. And the key is that ownership comes with accountability. So it's not because you're constantly checking in on them, but because the responsibility is clearly theirs when we say, can you take responsibility for ensuring something is completed successfully? People are far more likely to take accountability for something that they genuinely feel ownership for or something that belongs to them. Next one is to create accountability through questions rather than answers. And if anybody has worked with me before, we talk about this. One habit I see many leaders jumping into is going right into problem solving and just giving the answers to employees. So an employee might bring an issue, the leader provides the solution, conversation over, no one has grown on the team, leader has been bogged down by yet another question. Over time, you're teaching your employees to have dependency on you for every answer. So instead, the employee brings you an issue and maybe you say something like, what options have you considered? What do you think is the best approach? Or even what recommendation would you make if you were in my shoes? So now the employee remains accountable for thinking through the situation. And that is where their creative genes can come out, or those innovations, or just learning. You're there to still support them, especially if it's something new and maybe they're struggling. But the responsibility for solving the problem doesn't automatically shift upward to you. These questions create some responsibility for solving the problem at the employee level. The last one I want to share today is measuring outcomes, not activities. So it's kind of where many accountability systems, they start to fall apart. The leaders focus heavily on activity. So did I get updates? How many meetings did people attend? How often did someone check in with me? But activity doesn't always mean progress. So instead, I want you to consider focusing accountability around outcomes. So questions again, such as what was achieved, what commitments were met, what results were actually delivered. So when employees understand what they're accountable for, they often need less oversight because everyone is measuring success in the exact same way. And then leaders can spend less time watching activities and more time supporting the performance. So one of the biggest things myth that I do hear for leadership is that accountability requires control of everything. In reality, accountability requires just clarity. People need to understand, what are they responsible for? What does success look like? What boundaries do they have on things like decisions, or maybe it's budget, and how their performance will be measured. Once that, we'll call it a foundation, exists, leaders can often step back more than they think. This is where empowerment starts. So we're not removing the accountability, we're not lowering expectations. We're giving people the opportunity to own the work, contribute their ideas and thinking, and be responsible for meaningful things and outcomes. So as you head it, at the end of the week here, here's a question to consider. Where might you be holding on to accountability that could actually be with someone else on your team? I do find that one of the most rewarding parts of leadership really is watching people grow into responsibilities they actually never thought they were capable of handling. In fact, a lot of people will say, I don't think I can handle that. But in reality, they don't realize it until they try it or are given that accountability and ownership. So remember this, empowering people doesn't mean that we're lowering the bar. It means we're helping others to grow and thrive to meet or exceed that bar. All right, everybody, that's your Tip Thursday, and we shall see you next week. That's your Tip Thursday with Tara for this week. If you're looking to clarify leadership priorities, build strong teams, or empower those around you, I'm here to help. Explore our programs, coaching, and more at amplifyingleadership.ca, because leadership is better when we do it together.